What did you know about the rise of Nazism?
At that time we knew very little. When I was young, it came about in my later years that we found out about it, you know. And I wasn't old enough to read a paper, and there weren't too many papers to read in my hometown. What we heard, rumors or this and that, you know.
Was there much talk at home of any problems?
No. No, I was not talk about any, not in those years while I was a child, you know. Things started to change.
In what way?
In what way that at one time I remember, I was a child that time, that a very high official in the Polish government, I think it was the foreign minister or somebody at that statue, that came out with a slogan, and he said, bić Żydów nie wolno, bojkotować owszem, which means to beat Jews, you're not allowed to, but to boycott Jews, not buy from Jews, please do it. After that, when he said that, sort of things got into my mind that I saw that this is not my country, although I was born here, but I saw that things are starting to change for the worst.
And how old were you at that time?
I was about 10 or 11 years old. The war broke out in 1939.
How did you know when the war broke out?
Well, we knew it because, you know, the next day the Germans were in my town. That day, you know, when they walked into our town, we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what actually is going to take place, you know, but we knew it's no good.
But what happened to you on that day?
And that day, I actually ran away. I was, at that time, that was in 1939. I was 14 years. I stayed a while yet in Makov, and then I decided that I'm going on the Russian side. As a matter of fact, I had already one brother left. He ran away on the other side. Arya, my brother. And so I ran away with a friend of mine and his father. We smuggled the border, and then I met my brother in Lomja, and we went to live in Stavisk, which is 20 kilometers from Lomja. And we stayed there for a while, and my brother left me there with some friends of his, because I was a young boy, and he went back to bring my mother and sisters to Lomja on the German side, but he was caught on the border and he was arrested. And I never heard from him afterwards, after that. And I remained myself in Stavis that time. I couldn't get a job to work, I was too young. So I started to do a little business. It was winter time, and I started to do a little business. So I went, I used to go to Lomja, walk. It was 20 kilometers, and buy thread, spools of thread, and bring it back to Stavisk and resell them. Made a little profit, and that's how I lived. Till one time I went, and a policeman caught me with 50 spools of thread, and they arrested me. And they put me in jail in Lomja.